Pause! Welcome to the 12 Days of Sickness. My name is Chance with the Seer Club. I want to give you all a warning before you jump into this video. The 12 Days of Sickness is a seasonal thing. This channel has no intention of being an educational channel, and we are no professional. So enjoy, but be aware of that. If you like our vibes and our personality, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and let's get back into your video. Peace. Hello and welcome to another Seer Club video. Today I am going to go over a few exercises to help with dissociation and panic. These are exercises that I found personally helpful, so if these don't work for you, there are plenty of resources to look at on how to help with these, but these are the ones that I personally have found most helpful when I am dealing with these situations and when I've helped others deal with these situations. So I'm going to do a few examples as well with some of these exercises. I've split them up into 3 categories. First, we have dissociation, then we have panic, and then we have dissociation and panic. So what we're going to start with is just a general overall of all 3 of these. So basically, what you're trying to do in these situations is activate the sense of here and now. So get them to a safe location and activate those senses of here and now, and it will be very, very helpful to ground them and help subside any panic about what is happening in the current moment. First, let's start with dissociation. I have a few techniques that I would like to share that I know have been talked about before that I have found personally helpful. The first one is the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method. And this method is where you go 5 things that you can hear, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can see. You just go through the senses. And I know there's a certain order they're supposed to go in, but I never put them in the right order. Sometimes I find that might be more helpful is to mix up these orders sometimes, because it makes a person not get used to them and it helps them kind of do that. All I recommend is that taste and smell are really hard things to necessarily get them grounded to, and it's really hard to find 5 things in a quick you need it now situation. So I would recommend always putting those at 2 and 1. Focus on what's around you and go based on that. The next one that I really like requires just one sense, and that is sight. This is called the rainbow grounding technique. And what you do is you go through the rainbow, Roy G. Biv, if you're not sure, and you find 5 objects around you in those colors. This is really helpful for when someone can't hear very well, they can't taste very well, and they can't smell very well. It's very helpful for grounding, and also you can have some little arguments about whether something is actually red or is it pink. And that can help with the grounding, because then they're getting stuck in the here and now. A good thing to always have on hand is a little item that they trust or have a connection to, and spray some smell that they like on it. For example, I have a stuffed animal that I've had since I was a child that I spray with my partner's cologne, but I always have him with me. He's right here next to me right now. And he smells just like my partner, which is somewhere that I feel safe. So when I'm having problems grounding, sometimes I will pick him up and I will press him in my face, and that gives me both a tactile and a smell that helps me ground into the moment. Another thing that I like to do to ground in the moment is rub my hands together, clap, do things like that. that can really help. Or if I start to feel myself dissociate, I sometimes put my hands on my ears and kind of like a flame push my hands out or my fingers out and wiggle them around, and that can help me ground in the moment. And I'm not sure if that'll be helpful for anyone else, but it's very helpful for me to kind of be in the moment again and feel silly, you know. Next, I'm going to go over panicking. Panicking, these grounding techniques won't help as much. Panicking, the best thing to do during those times is breathing exercises. I oftentimes need someone who's there to count me through it, and this is the one that I am going to do an example on. Basically, when someone I know is panicking, this is exactly how I count them through breathing. I need you to look at me. It's okay. It's just you and me right now. What I need you to do is take some deep breaths with me, okay? So what we're going to do, I'm going to count to 3. You're going to breathe in with me. And then I'm going to count to 3 as we push it out, okay? So why don't you take a good deep breath with me? Ready? In. 1, 2, 3. Out. 1, 2, 3. And with that, I repeat it a few times. I typically go with 3, since 3 is my favorite number. And that typically helps people, but if they're still panicking, I ask if they'd like to do it again. And most of the time, if they're still panicking, they nod or they tell me yes, and I do it until they're done, until they're calmed down enough. And it really seems to help people, and it really helps me too. The next thing is, if they're not wanting to do breathing exercises, is to converse with them. Talk to them about their problems, in the sense of, if they bring something up, you talk to them about it. You validate them. Like if they're saying, I'm a horrible person, or something like that, go, I don't think you're a horrible person, you know? And you kind of give them a talk about, I don't think you're a horrible person. Here's why, you know. And if they seem to get frustrated, you just listen at that point. You let them let it all out. You let them cry, you let them scream. You're just there for them. The next topic I'm going to talk about is dissociation mixed with panic. As a DID system, this can happen a lot for me. And so these methods help a lot to ground. First, I'm going to talk about something you need consent for before you do this. So they need to be able to communicate with you in some way. And that is to ask if you can touch them. And what I mean by that is whether you can touch their back, their arm, their hand. If you can get some sort of touch on them, and then walk them through that breathing exercise while gently tracing on their hand through the line. So if you watch my eye here, if you go 1, 2, 3, out, 1, 2, 3, it can really help people have that feeling and bring in that tactile, helpful thing that the other 2 grounding techniques that I mentioned can do, while also helping them through a breathing exercise to help them with their panic. Another thing you can do is that breathing with the techniques, right? Is as you're finding 3 items that are the color red, take a deep breath in. Or, okay, we're going to do this little exercise where we're going to breathe and then find something that's red. And then we're going to breathe and find another thing that's red. This can really help ground without the breathing causing them to dissociate harder. Next is also a breathing video, something visual that brings in that elements of grounding that can help. For all three of these, I have a few tips that can help as well. Bringing comfort items can also really help someone who's dissociating, panicking, or dissociating and panicking, things that they've had forever. Like I said, my example is a stuffed animal I've had since I was 3. This can really, really, really help people who are struggling to ground, to be in the moment, or that are panicking, to give them that comfort, something they recognize, something that feels good. This can be a blanket that they use. This can be, a jacket. This can be anything. I always recommend that if you have problems with panicking or dissociating, that you have something familiar with you at all times. Preferably something that is tactile and possibly even smelly, so that you can easily recognize it in your state of panic or your state of dissociation. I really hope this helped some people, and I really hope that you have a wonderful day. Good night.